Well, welcome back to my channel and to a camera review. Today we have a solar powered pan and tilt 4G camera. That means this camera can be mounted virtually anywhere that you have cellular signal, no Wi-Fi, and no wires needed. Now with the popularity of these 4G pan and tilt cameras increasing, a lot of different companies are jumping into that market. That gives us a lot of different options, which also makes a lot of competition to make these even more affordable. Today I'll do a quick unboxing. I'll show you what you get in this package. I'm going to activate this camera, and then I'm going to put it to work, and I'm going to show you sample videos that I get from this camera. I'll show you that pan and tilt feature, how that's going to come in handy. Has a smart PIR sensor, lots of things to discuss, but first let's get it out of the package. So here is some of the packaging. It's called an Intelligent Solar Energy Alert PTZ camera. It is called Vyze-Link. That's the brand and the model of this camera. Let's see what we get inside the package. The camera comes with a user's manual. It is a pretty small print on there, so you might have to break out your glasses or your magnifying glass to read all the details. The camera actually comes with your data card, your SIM card to put in the camera. Actually, it's for AT&T or Verizon. You get to choose which has the best service in your area. Underneath that is the solar panel. As you can see, the solar panel has an included connection that you can plug into your camera to power your camera. Here is the actual camera. Of course, you're going to want to remove the film here, but the camera would mount this way. It does have the pan and tilt built into it. Has a 1/4-20 mount on the top. It includes a mount that you can either strap to a tree or mount to a wall, and then the camera would mount on top of there like that. Comes with a strap, again, to use this mount and to mount it to a tree or a building. It also includes an extension cable for the solar panel that can allow you to mount it even further away from the camera. And it comes with a packaging of some mounting hardware, screws, and an additional USB charge cable. So let's take a closer look at the camera itself. It's actually a pretty compact camera, as you can see here compared to what my hand is. It has antennas on the back. It has dual antennas. They can be positioned in several different positions, but they do look like they're permanently mounted into the housing. As you can see here is where your USB charge cord plugs in for your solar panel, and it also has an on-off switch inside of there. If you look on the bottom of your camera here, it actually has a rubber plug that covers the slot for those included SIM cards, and you're also going to need to supply an SD card. So at first glance, I like the compact design and the camo pattern on this. I'm going to fully charge this internal battery to give that solar panel a head start. I'm going to activate the camera, then I'm going to put it to work and start showing you some of the features and functions. So it's been nearly 6 weeks since I activated that camera and put it to use here in my farm. I'm going to give you my final thoughts, the pros and cons as I see it after using this camera for that amount of time. I'll also show you things like sample videos that I've been receiving from that camera. I'll do a demonstration of the live view and what the app looks like. But first I want to tell you a couple of things that I've learned since using this camera. The activation went extremely well. In fact, they have voice prompts that give you directions and will talk you through the installation process. All went very well. The hardest part for me was to figure out which way the very small SIM card installs into the camera. You want to have the metal contacts facing out the same way that the lens is looking. So once I figured that out, all went very smoothly while activating the camera. They include both AT&T and Verizon SIM cards. Each card comes with a 7-day and a limited amount of data, all for free, that'll allow you to activate the camera and see which one works best in your area. I'll put a graph up here on the screen of the different plans that are available through these two providers. You will notice there's a bit of a difference in the price of the monthly plan. It all depends on which one you're going to choose and which one works best for your area. These prices are current as of now, but of course they're subject to change. I did use both SIM cards. I installed one at a time to see which one would work best. It's worth noting, and I learned the hard way through experience, that if you do try one of the SIM cards and do the free trial, if you want to try the other one, you have to first delete the camera and the SIM card from the app. So it may sound confusing, but it really wasn't hard. I was just having trouble having the second SIM card connect, and it was because I was not deleting the first camera and SIM card from the app first. So to recap, simply delete both the camera and the SIM card from the app if you want to try the opposite SIM card. So next I'm going to take you outside. I'm going to give you a demonstration of how this live view and the app looks and works. So I wanted to give you a demonstration of how this app works and what it looks like when operating the camera through the app and what the playback is like. So you can open up the app. It's called Kassa, at least in the Apple Store. That's what it's called, K-A-S-S-A. If you'll note, the camera is over my shoulder. It's maybe 50 feet away, but you could be thousands of miles away and it'll work all the same over that 4G network. The app takes a second or two to load, but then you can click on the camera and it'll pull up a live feed of exactly what that camera is seeing. This is great for security. If you would have it mounted at a location far away from you, you can log into the camera, and as you can see, you get this near live feed right here through the app, no matter where you are or how far away from that camera you are. You'll also get complete control of the settings through the app, but if you click on the live feed, it brings up some information that'll be helpful to you. You can see on the left-hand side, it shows my battery life, and it shows that it's currently charging, although it's mostly overcast and extremely cold out here today. It also gives you the strength of your signal. I'm currently running about 2 out of 3 bars. Next is the audio. It's currently muted, but you could unmute that and hear exactly what the camera's hearing at the current time. We're running on the low resolution currently, but you could toggle that to a higher resolution. Keep in mind that's going to use more data. And lastly, you could make it a full screen if you click that button on the lower right-hand corner of the live view. Next, I want to show you the recorded events. If you click events, it gives you the recordings in days and months. So you can look through different days through the month, and if you click on one of them, it'll give you all the recorded videos. It shows you a still thumbnail over here on the right-hand side. Had a lot of squirrel activity that day. If you scroll down, there were some deer right close to the camera. You can click on any video you choose, and it will play back the video. So as you can see, the deer is right up close to the camera. I will show you more sample videos that this camera has taken both daytime and nighttime, so you can get an even better idea of what type of quality you can expect from this camera. But I want to show you some more of the settings. If we go back out to the main screen and the live view, I want to show you the pan and tilt feature, because after all, that is a huge selling point with these cameras. You can simply click the 4-way arrows right here on the app. My fingers are so cold, my phone's not even working. This brings up the control, and you can steer the camera left and right. And as you can see, your picture changes simply by holding that, and you can pan and tilt. Of course, you can go up and down equally as easy right here through the app. It makes it extremely handy to get this camera positioned exactly as you want. Better yet, a week later, you can change the position of the camera simply by panning and tilting with never visiting the actual camera site. Again, you could be 1,000 miles away and change the direction in which this camera's looking, or maybe you just want to scan the area yourself by using the live view. All of that is possible with the pan and tilt 4G camera. The last thing I'll discuss are the different settings that you can customize with this camera. In the upper right-hand corner is a gear icon. This brings up a list of different settings that you can customize. Now with this camera, there is not an extensive list, but you can change some of the basic settings. like turning the PIR sensor on and off. If you would want this camera just to sit dormant and not to trigger and take videos, you can turn it on and off. You could actually have a setting that it only detects human activity, so it will not take a video if there's animals or something other than a human walking past the camera. This is especially useful if you don't want to use up your SD card and you only want to use it as security. That might be an option that you would want to choose. It also has an alarm siren if you choose to turn that on. Let's say you're using this as a security camera and you want it to sound an alarm when it detects activity. You can turn this on or off, whichever you choose. So next I'll show you sample videos that this camera has taken. I have pulled the HD version directly from the SD card, and that's what you'll be seeing. There'll be both daytime and nighttime. You can check out things like the quality of the video, how far the night IR illuminates. So check out these sample videos. So you've been watching sample videos that this camera has recorded over the past 6 weeks. I will continue to show you more, but right now it is time for my final thoughts. I'm going to start out with the positives. I like this camera's compact design, and I actually like the mount that this camera includes. When I first saw this plastic mount, I was a little bit skeptical, was not sure if it was going to be sturdy enough or how easily it would mount to a tree. I'm pleased to say that after using this camera for about 6 weeks, I actually prefer this type of mount. You can simply strap the base part to the tree. If you choose, you can also put the solar panel on that base and then simply slide your camera into place and tighten the thumb screw to hold it securely. I like the camera's compact and camo design. I find that its smaller footprint makes it easier to disguise or to hide, and I find the camo pattern blends in fairly well with a variety of backgrounds. Another positive for me is the quality of the recorded videos. I thought they were good, both the daytime and nighttime videos. The daytime videos had good color, and the nighttime videos had good illumination, and you had no trouble seeing out at quite a distance. Another positive is its trigger speed. I was actually impressed with this camera's trigger speed. Multiple times the camera would trigger when animals were at a far distance or off to the side and simply coming into view. I felt like it was capturing them each and every time. I never felt like I was missing any of the action. Again, as the animal approached, it seemed to trigger and it would begin recording even when the animals, big and small, were off in the distance. Now, are there things that I think could be improved or things that I had trouble with this camera? Well, the first thing that I dealt with when the camera was brand new, the playback of the nighttime videos seemed to be at a higher speed. In other words, when I played back the nighttime videos, everything looked like it was in fast motion. I contacted the company and there was a firmware update that I was able to download and it fixed that problem. Now the great thing about this is the firmware was an over-the-air firmware update. I never had to go and retrieve the camera or turn the camera on and off to install this firmware. It was as simple as going into the app and updating the firmware. The other thing that I'll put into the negative column, for me, the included solar panel was not able to keep up with the battery demand when I first mounted the camera. I had it overlooking the edge of a field and a wood line that came down to that field. I tried to place the camera at the best angle to capture as much sunlight as possible. Well, we had a period of cloudy, rainy, cold winter-like weather, and the solar panel was not able to keep up with the battery, and the battery actually died. I retrieved the camera and fully charged the battery back up using USB power, and then remounted the camera, but this time I used the included extension cable. Although they included that USB extension cable that allows you to remotely mount that solar panel, they do not include a base that would easily allow you to mount it to the tree other than the base of the camera. In other words, what's included with this solar panel works great when you're mounting it directly onto the camera's base, but if you want to mount it to the tree, maybe 10, 15 feet away or up higher in the tree, you're going to have to supply your own base or mounting mechanism. Now the panel does have a 1/4-20 mount, so it makes it relatively easy, but keep in mind you might have to buy or else DIY a mount if you choose to use that extension cable. It's worth noting that while in communication with the company, they did indicate that some future models will have a larger solar panel to help capture even more sunlight. So those were my final thoughts. Overall, it was a good camera. It worked well for me. I liked the quality of the videos, its compact design, and its camo pattern. I'll be placing a link down in the description if you would like more information, or maybe you would like to purchase one for yourself. If you have comments or questions, or maybe something that I did not cover, please leave me a comment down below. I enjoy hearing from you, and I try to get back to each and every one of you. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.